welcome back to Bochiknot and Bochiknot.com. My name is Nicole, and welcome back to day 10 of the 12 days of Macrame Christmas. So we actually skipped day 9 because we did a live workshop for that one. We made several mini wall hangings. Just in case you guys missed that, we'll post a link to the saved version of that in the video description below, just in case you guys want to see it. And just in case you guys are interested, for day 12, so the last day of the 12 days of Macrame Christmas, we are also doing another live workshop. So on Monday, November 30th, I think, we will be doing a live workshop for that last day. So for more details on that, we'll post that in the video description below, but also stay tuned and subscribe to the channel because we'll also post notifications of that on the community tab. We will also post notifications, of course, if it's easier for you to subscribe to our emailing list on Bochiknot.com or by following me on Instagram at Bochiknot. Okay, so with that said, we're going to introduce you to the pattern that we're going to be making today. So in continuation of these smaller macrame projects, we're going to be making a little rainbow ornament today. So as you can see here, I used Christmas colors to make this rainbow, and I added little Christmas bows to each side of them, making it super adorable. So these actually, because I hand sewed each section together, so hand sewed 3 sections together. It took a little longer than usual to make these little rainbows. If you don't really have the patience for sewing these sections together, you can always hot glue gun them or just any kind of strong glue to glue the sections together. I just personally don't like using glue just because I don't have good experience with glue. It usually gets really messy, it still falls apart really easily, and so I prefer to sew. But if you guys want to make these faster and quicker, you can definitely glue them instead. So this is not a super difficult macrame project. We don't use a ton of knots, really just the overhand knot, but it's more so wrapping. So this is more of a craft project than macrame than anything. But it's still a really fun project to make, and I love the result of this. This is probably one of my favorite ones. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up, and if you guys haven't already, subscribe to Bochiknot Macrame for more video tutorials. So after today, we only have 2 more projects left for the 12 days of Macrame Christmas. I really hope you guys enjoyed this series. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. And with that, let's get started.
Before we begin, you will need some materials and supplies. You'll need some thin string in multiple colors and some cord that is at least 3 millimeter in size, but you can also go thicker if you want a bigger rainbow. The string I will be using for the rainbow to wrap around the cord are 1.5 millimeter 2-ply string from my rainbow cord line. Because we're making a mini rainbow, we're using thin string to wrap around cord. If you're making a larger rainbow, you can definitely use several strands of string for the middle part of the rainbow and use cord, 3 millimeter or 4 millimeter cord to wrap around for the rainbow. So we will be wrapping the string around some cord, and the cord that we will be using today is a natural single strand cord from my rainbow cord line, and this is 5 millimeter in size since I want to make a slightly larger rainbow. So it's still a mini version, but a slightly larger version. So you can use any size from 3 millimeter to even 8 millimeter if you'd like, if that's what you have. Or you can even use 2 strands of 3 millimeter as one to wrap the string around. The little rainbow that I am holding right here was made with 3mm single strand cord as the inner cord. It is slightly smaller than the one that we will be making today with 5mm cord, and you will see that later on. So there's two ways to make this rainbow. You can use glue, or you can do what I did and I sewed the rainbow together. You can see the pink stitches at the back. For this tutorial, we will be sewing our rainbow together. If you prefer to just glue the pieces together, that's totally up to you. I'm going to sew it and hide the threads so that you aren't able to see the stitches. So if you'd like to follow along with the sewing, then you'll need a needle and some thread. So to begin, you'll need a strand of cord at about 20 centimeters long. And the easiest way to start wrapping, instead of cutting a long string, we're just going to take the roll and start wrapping it around the cord. So on one end, we're going to fold the end upwards, and we're going to take that long end and start wrapping it around that short end to cover it. So we're going to wrap the cord as tightly as possible with the string. If you do see some gaps in between the string, then I would stop here and there and push the wrapped sections together and then continue on. We're going to continue wrapping until we reach about 5 centimeters total in wrapped length. So keep going until you reach about 5 centimeters. So I think we're just about there at 5 centimeters. We're going to bend this pattern, and that's what it's going to look like. This brown pattern is going to be the inner part of the rainbow, so the bottom part of the rainbow. Okay, because we're there, we're going to cut off the excess string. So leave a little bit of space, but we're going to cut the rest off. And then we're going to essentially tie an overhand knot here with the last loop. So make a loop and then pull the cord end through to tighten. Okay, now we're going to repeat pretty much the exact same pattern on another strand of 20 centimeter long cord, this time with another color. So I'm going to go with my next color, which is this nice army green color. So we're going to start on one end again and wrap it around the cord several times. And then this time we're going to wrap it around so that it's slightly longer than 5 centimeters, so that when you fold this green one over the khaki one that we had just completed, it will show that the rainbow are aligned from start to finish on the sides. So we'll have to be slightly longer because It's the next color above the khaki color. So once we have completed the green one slightly longer than the khaki one, when you mash them up together, you should see that when they start on the left side and end on the right side, they should be aligned when curved like the rainbow. So if that's the case, we're going to cut off the excess cord and make that overhand knot on the right side. So now that we've made 2 rows of the rainbow, we're going to finish off with our third and last one. So following the same thing for what we did with the green one, we're going to take another strand of 20 centimeter cord and wrap the red string around the cord until it is slightly longer than the green one. So once the red section has been made and sealed as well, we're going to start sewing the 3 sections together. We're going to try and hide the thread so that we're going to sew it right on top of the bottom section, but then right underneath the section above it. So we're going to start at the middle of the top part where it's going to be attached to the green part above. And first, on the side where there's that excess cord end hanging through it, we're just going to sew that part of the knot a few times so it doesn't come undone. Then once the side is secure, we can start sewing the 2 sections together. So once you start sewing the bottom of the green section together with the khaki section, we're going to start on that same end and wrap it around several times first on the side, so that the knot there on the green section doesn't come undone. So once it's threaded through the side of the green pattern, we're going to sew around that knot a few times to secure it before we continue with alternating the sewing from the khaki to the green. So once that side knot of the green pattern is secure, we're now going to start alternating back and forth between the khaki and the green color to secure those 2 sections together. So threading through about 3 sections of string at a time on the khaki pattern, we're going to sew it through. And then same thing, once you're done the khaki section, we're going to sew through 3 sections of the green pattern. Ensure that when you're threading through the khaki section, it's following the same middle line all the way across, and then when you're threading through the green section, it's the same middle line at the bottom of the green pattern all the way across, so that when you tighten up the stitches, you shouldn't be seeing any threading on the sides of the pattern. They should be directly on top and underneath each other. So we're going to continue alternating back and forth from khaki to green and then khaki to green until we reach the end, ensuring that after each section we pull on the threads to tighten. So don't worry about your rainbow not curving right now. That's because we haven't sewn them together yet. Usually when we're making a larger rainbow, we do add a piece of wire underneath the wrapped part of the section so that we can curve the rainbow section more easily. But because we're sewing these sections together, they will curve together in the end. So continue sewing back and forth, a few sections at a time, from the khaki to the green until you've reached the other end. Once you've reached the other end, this is what the pattern should look like. As you can see, it's already curving. So once you've reached the end, what we're going to do is seal the sides, similar to how we sealed the sides when we started. And so we're going to go back a few sections and then wrap it around the front, and then do that once more. And then this time we're going to make an overhand knot after that to seal the pattern. So now finish off with an overhand knot, and then we're going to cut off the excess thread. Now we're going to do the exact same thing with the green, but with the green and the red this time. So green at the bottom and then red at the top. So start on the side where the red has the knot, seal the knot, and then go back and forth between the green and the red pattern until you reach the other side. Once the red is sealed onto the green section, we're going to cut off all the excess cord, and then all you have to do now is trim the natural cord at the bottom so that they're the same length, and then we're going to sew some bows onto each side of the rainbow as well. Start by combing through the fringe and then cutting off and trimming the excess cord so that they're the same length. Before we add the rainbows, we're just going to add the handle for this ornament. And so what we're going to do now is take the middle loop at the very top of the red pattern, and then we're going to try to loosen it up so that we can thread through a separate strand of string. So I'm just going to use my needle and try to find the middle loop, and then I'm going to try to loosen it up as much as possible. Once you think you've loosened it up to make enough space to thread through another strand of string, we're going to take a strand of string at 20 centimeters long, and we're going to try to weave it through that loop. Now, if you have a really small hook needle, so a needle with a little hook on it, then you can easily try to weave that cord through the loop. Or if you use something thin like a toothpick, you can try and push the string through as well. I'm just going to try and use my nails to pull the string through. Once the cord is through, we're going to even out the cord ends and make an overhand knot directly above it. Then we're going to thread through a bead through these two strands of string, and then tie another overhand knot at the top for the handle. So now you're going to take a ribbon at about 20 to 25 centimeters long, and you're going to cut it in half, and we're going to make little bows on each side of the rainbow. So this part will require a little bit of sewing as well to sew it onto the sides. So we're going to take one ribbon and we're going to crisscross both sides, one on top of the other, to form a bow-like shape. We're not going to tie an actual bow because we're going to sew it together onto the side. So start by sewing through bottom up of the bow, and then we're going to bring the thread from behind and then sew it through the middle of the bow again to secure the bow. Then we're going to go loop around the bottom and back through the middle. Now we're going to go top down, and we're now going to attach this bow onto one side of the rainbow. So you want to make sure that you're threading the bow through the string part of the rainbow so that it will stay. So at the very bottom of the green part, the middle section of the rainbow, we're going to sew the bow through that, and then tie an overhand knot at the back to seal it. Once you're done the bow on this side, you're just going to repeat the same thing on the other side. And this is what the end result of the rainbow should look like with the two bows. If you guys enjoyed this tutorial, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.